Welcome to the Celebrated Life. I am Reverend Roby Warren, and you are finding me on wazillomedia.com, the newest 24-hour live internet television station. So congratulations, we're here and we're live. The Celebrated Life is here for one sole purpose, and that is to support you in realizing your perfect passion, your perfect purpose, and your perfect prosperity. And to that end, we will be having our guest today is Arnoux Goran. He is the founder and facilitator of Total Health Mastery, and he has supported thousands and thousands of people of curing themselves from major illnesses, all through the power of proper eating. Can you imagine? It's an amazing, miraculous, many amazing, miraculous stories, and we'll be talking to him in just a moment. So Arnoux, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Roby.
And I have to say, Arnoux is a dear friend of mine, in full disclosure. And Arnoux, you have blessed me all in my life in overcoming an illness. And I had gone last year to 3 doctors who could not tell me, could not diagnose what was going on with me physically. And I called you and I explained my symptoms, and you knew immediately what it was, and you put me on a raw food diet and gave me some supplements to take, and in 3 weeks' time I was completely cured. So I owe you a lot. But before we get into, I know there's so much we're going to talk about today. I'm so excited. I'm so glad that you're here.
Me too.
Before we get into that, you have an amazing personal story. And I think that your personal story, if you're willing to share it, could be inspiring to some of our viewers. Because what we're seeing now, right, this beautiful, gorgeous, handsome, vibrant, vital man.
Thank you.
Why, thank you.
Thank you.
was not always who you were, right? Would you share with the viewers your story, where it all started and what got you on this path?
Absolutely. You know, for me, it started with being in a bad place with my own health. You know, I grew up always with a runny nose, always missing school, severe allergies. I was diagnosed with sinusitis and rhinitis and all these things that mean your sinuses are inflamed and your nose runs all the time, essentially. And at the age of 13, I was rushed to the ER 4 times in a week with asthma. I couldn't breathe, and I thought I might die. And they gave me an inhaler and said, "You're going to be on this for the rest of your life. You have asthma, and there's no cure for that." When I was 16, my knuckles had been hurting for about 6 months, and they were all swollen, so my dad finally took me to the doctor. And he said, "Well, you've got arthritis."
At 16, you had arthritis?
At 16.
Wow.
"But there's nothing we can do about it, so you're just going to have to learn to live with the pain."
So you have asthma that the medical doctors tell you there's nothing you can do for it. Now you've been diagnosed at the age of 16 with arthritis, and the doctors are telling you there's nothing you can do about it. Plus then you had several other maladies and afflictions that were debilitating you, yes?
Absolutely. You know, at 18, I developed an ulcer. At 19, I went to the bathroom and blood came out. And I thought, what is so wrong with me that I'm bleeding on the inside?
Wow, that's scary.
Yeah. It's kind of depressing, actually, at that age to be that sick. And I was getting just more and more fatigued. And I stopped going to the traditional medical doctors, the allopathic doctors, because I wasn't getting any help from them. They just kept telling me, "You're already on the strongest medication." So I tried every different kind of modality I could. I even went to the phone book and looked for something I'd never heard of, found naturopathic medicine, which I found to be pretty extraordinary. And they did diagnose me with hypoglycemia, anemia, which is low red blood cell count, candida, which is an overgrowth of bacteria. They told me that my adrenals had completely shut off and I had total adrenal failure, that having pain in your entire body could be called fibromyalgia, and sleeping 12 hours a day, well, that might be chronic fatigue syndrome, and I was totally exhausted all the time.
And how old were you?
Well, at 22, Dr. Molly Linton sat across from me in her beautiful brown dusk and said, "Arnoux, if you don't do something different soon, you're not going to be around much longer."
Wow. At 22 years old.
At 22.
So can we back it up just a little bit for our viewers, for their benefit? Because I know the story. So can you share, though, some of what was going on in your world that would cause such a young boy, right, a young man, to experience like such stress that would bring on some of these maladies?
Well, first of all, my parents were not that healthy to begin with. And then they were having a severe drug problem. They were basically smoking cocaine or crack for 12 years of my childhood. And there was a lot of emotional violence in our home, a lot of screaming, yelling, arguing, fighting all the time. A lot of not having the things that you need in life provided, like food and warmth and clothing. And
just basic necessities that a child needs.
Exactly, especially attention. I think that was the biggest missing for me. And my parents are great parents, but they were basically going through an illness of their own. They're going through their own challenge, and they've gotten over that. It's been over 15 years since they've gotten off of drugs. My dad got 2 bachelors, and they're doing great, and we're really close. But I had that experience as a kid.
As a child, yes.
Exactly, and it was very stressful. Being the oldest kid, I was responsible for my younger brothers, and the emotional stress and the lack of food and the poor quality of food. I mean, I used to eat top ramen without water because I was hungry, and that was all there was.
Wow.
And the combination of all those things had my body break down very early on.
Yeah. Wow. So there was a definite correlation, though, between your home environment, right, the neglect, even the abuse, more than neglect, abuse from your parents. You were also the oldest child, is that right?
That's right.
And you have a younger brother?
I actually have 3 younger brothers now, but I had 2 growing up.
2 growing up. And so you took it upon yourself to take care of your younger brothers as well.
As best as I could.
Yeah. So here you were, a child, taking care of children in horrific conditions. Mm-hmm. And so now all of that stress, right, has its toll on your physical body. And so what was it, do you think, that led you to, well, probably to not give up? What caused you to seek out a different answer?
Well, I've always been very spiritual, and not religious necessarily, but spiritual meaning I feel very connected to spirit and have had a lot of spiritual experiences on my own that started at 15, 16, 17, where I really felt like God was communicating to me and I was communicating back.
Right.
And it was very clear to me that I was not going to die when my doctors told me that I was going to die.
So you just knew.
I really didn't believe them. When they said there was no cure, I just thought, well, that just means you don't know what the cure is. But there is a way for me to get better, and I'm going to find it. I'm too young to die. It's just not my purpose in this life. I'm here for a reason. I know I'm here for a reason. I'm not going to die. I'm going to find out how to get better.
Yes.
I actually wanted to go become a doctor myself, a naturopathic doctor, and I got accepted to Bastyr, which is a great naturopathic school. But I was so sick, I literally declined going to school to learn to heal myself so I could take a year off to find out how to get better because I couldn't do anything. I was too sick to go.
Wow. And so how did you get here? So take us from, now you've just discovered a naturopathic doctor. What was next?
Well, I'm very big on, if you pray for answers, you'll get them. If you have any question, you can ask God for the answer, or whatever you believe in, the universe, the higher power, the great spirit. I respect everyone's beliefs. I just like to use the word God. So I believe if you ask God for an answer, you'll get the answer.
So you had a very fundamental, just to interrupt, you had a very fundamental relationship with a higher power that was personal and meaningful to you, and that's what you relied on.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. Yeah, I felt very strongly that if I just asked for answers, I would get them. And it kind of befuddled me that I didn't ask when I was younger. Why did I wait till, my last doctor told me, you're going to die? Oh, wait a minute, I can just ask God for what to do. I could have done that years before. So I did. I prayed and I said, what do I do? Mm-hmm. And a month later, my friend Michelle had lost 20 pounds in a month. And I hadn't seen her in a month. And I said, well, this is unusual because you've been a vegan for 15 years, which means no animal products at all, no animal fat, doing martial arts training 5 days a week, 2 hours a day, and could not lose this 20 pounds for a 2-year period. And then all of a sudden, it's gone in a month. And I said, what did you do? And she said, well, come over to my house for dinner. And she introduced me to what's called the raw food diet, which is also called the living food diet. I mean, it's basically just eating organic fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds, but prepared in a very gourmet way. Like she made me a chocolate pie and a green lasagna. But there was nothing but spinach and zucchini and pesto sauce and nuts, and it was just all made from fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds.
And nothing cooked.
Nothing was cooked in there.
Raw.
And I was at a point where I was either going to try something different or die. So I decided to learn more about it at least. And I went to a class, and this Russian family who all were very sick cured themselves eating a healthy diet. So I tried it. I did about 95%. And in 6 months, I had nothing wrong with me.
Wow. Well, let's leave off right there. We're going to take a break for a commercial. And that's pretty phenomenal. So we want to hear more about that when we come back. So stay tuned. We're going to break for a commercial, and Arnoux is going to share with us really all of the amazing things that have happened since he's embraced this new type of eating. We'll be right back.
Before you go out, screen the scene with Wazillo.com. Don't waste time or money going out to a place that's not perfect for you. Wazillo.com has live video streaming from your favorite bars, taverns, pubs, clubs, and venues. Find a place you've yet to discover. Wazillo.com keeps your eye on the action. Save time by making sure where you're going is the spot where you want to be. Check out the atmosphere, see what bartender is working, and view the crowd. Save money by finding coupons and check out the food and drink specials. Before you go out, screen the scene with Wazillo.com.
Welcome back. We're here with Arnoux Goran, founder of Total Health Mastery. And Arnoux is an amazing health guru who has supported thousands and thousands of people of overcoming major illnesses in their life and having the life of their dreams in a healthy body that they never thought was possible. Okay, so where were we? You had just found out about raw food.
Right. And I did it for 6 months, and every symptom went away.
Every symptom.
No more pain in my body.
Arthritis.
No more bleeding. No more blood in the toilet. No more asthma. No more runny noses. No more dandruff. No more dry skin. No more bad breath. No more body odor.
Well, thank God for that.
Right? No need for deodorant. I thought everyone had to use deodorant. I thought it was a part of life. My memory came back. I was sleeping 8 hours a day. I could read books all day long and remember everything I read. Within a year, I was only sleeping 6 hours a day.
Wow.
And along the way, I had to ask myself a few questions. Why did my doctors tell me to do this?
Right.
Why don't they know about this? Why doesn't everybody know about this? And it was very clear to me. I had a very powerful spiritual experience that showed me that it's my job to bring health, not just eating healthy, but health in general, to the average person, to the mainstream, to make it part of how we live our life. Because all that pain, all that suffering I went through was totally unnecessary. It was simply a result of ignorance. I didn't know what to do, and nobody else did either. But the information already existed. It always existed in the mind of God. The only question was, did human beings know it? And yes, we did, and we do. Right. And so it's my job to bring that to everyone. So I've spent over 10 years designing programs to educate people.
So why is it, Arnoux, that you think medical doctors do not know more about the positive effects of nutrition on the human body?
It's simply not what they learn in school. A recent study by Congress showed that the average medical doctor has an average of 3 hours of nutritional training. 3 hours. They don't focus on nutrition as a method of healing the human body.
Wow.
They look at drugs and surgery are their main modalities. And that's what they learn. And so it's not their fault. Everyone that I was in school with that was pre-med like me, when I asked them, why do you want to be a doctor? Mm-hmm. They would say, because I want to help people.
Yes.
And they go to school and they learn this is the best stuff. This is what works. This is all there is. And I suspect they're told if anyone tells you anything else, they're a quack or a liar. And they may not be open then to other ideas.
Right.
And they may not realize how fundamental nutrition is, emotional healing is, detoxing the body, reframing and changing both the conscious and unconscious mind, and even doing energetic and spiritual healing.
Wow, that's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, can we break down some of those components? Would you mind?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Can you say no? Yeah. So now you're on Raw, but I just have to say, isn't it amazing that the thing that was like the absolute worst thing that was possible for you, like all of that adversity, actually was the very thing that delivered you to having your greatest life ever?
Absolutely.
Isn't that how it is usually? It's amazing.
It's Francis Bacon's quote.
What is that?
Underneath every problem lies an opportunity so great it literally dwarfs the problem.
That's true.
You know, we're in a health epidemic in America.
Yes, we are.
And it's forcing us to look at our health. And we're going to find out that there's more than just being healthy, which is like being broke. You can actually become a health millionaire. You can sleep less than 8 hours a day and function better with more energy. You can look younger. You can look younger longer. You never actually have to get a cold or the flu, ever. You don't. It's simply a misunderstanding of how the body works.
Wow. And so you really took on this study, though. You have just dedicated your life to studying about the human body and studying about alternative methods for healing, yes?
Yes, and also the human mind. And that's really the thrust of what I want to share with people is the design of the body and the design of the mind. Because there are really simple designs to how you work. And when you understand that, you can release your old emotions from the past. You can change the negative repeating thoughts that reoccur in your mind. You can heal your body yourself. I'm not a doctor. I don't heal, I don't cure, I don't treat, I don't diagnose, I don't prescribe. I just teach. And other people go and get results that are considered impossible by today's standards.
Yeah. Now, it's really interesting that you bring up the mind-body connection, because a lot of your childhood ailments were caused by mental stress combined with nutritional, what's the word I want? Probably imbalance.
There you go.
But you had to attend to both of those areas in order to heal yourself.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, what do you teach your clients? Like, can you just give us like a brief overview?
Yes. So, as I healed my body, a lot of the old emotions from my childhood that I had stuffed down started coming up, and it was a little bit overwhelming actually. And I knew that I needed to learn how to release those old emotions from the past that I had stuffed, which everyone does. Most people are so good at it, it's automatic. They don't even know they're doing it anymore.
Right.
And so I started doing a lot of research. I could not actually find a way to permanently release negative emotions. So I had to discover one. And after putting a lot of pieces together, a miracle occurred, and I actually understood how to go into the unconscious mind and remove the beliefs and the emotion that go with it completely permanently, so that the cells of your body literally release the toxic emotions while you're asleep. And you wake up the next day, and if you look at what happened to you, you don't feel anything, it's literally gone. I call that cleared. And that process is now called the 7 steps to reprogramming yourself. And it's amazing to watch people who are on, antidepressants or who are in marriage counseling have a 1 hour, 2 hour session with one of my trainers and have all the emotion that was stuck in their gut disappear, and have them say 3 days later, with the help of my doctor, I'm off my antidepressants, I just don't need them, I feel better from the inside out.
Wow. So just by going back and through your 7-step process, you can release kind of like the traumas, right, that's still attached to some of your negative life experiences. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
So thoughts are things.
Thoughts are things and create your reality. And
Wow.
part of my understanding of healing the human mind and releasing negative emotions tied directly into being successful and living your passion and living your purpose in life and having prosperity. Because those emotions create repeating thoughts or vice versa, which then create a vibration or an energy that you put out into the world and also impact your actions, which then creates your entire reality.
Right.
So when you release your negative emotions and change your unconscious belief system, that's actually how you change your life.
Isn't that the Gandhi quote? I think I'm gonna butcher it, but didn't Gandhi say something? Be careful of your thoughts; they become your words. And be careful of your words because they become your actions. Be careful of your actions because they become your habits. And be careful of your habits because they become your destiny.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what comes before your thoughts is your programming.
This is where it gets really interesting.
Your programming is what starts that whole chain of events, that whole cycle.
So programming, explain programming.
Programming is the unconscious belief systems that you have that literally live in your body. We have proven that your mind, your unconscious mind, your belief systems are not in your brain. They're in your entire body. Every cell in your body is coated with the same fluid that allows neurotransmitters to communicate. So your mind exists here, and everything that you've been through, all the traumas you've been through, literally gets stored in your body like they get stored on a computer hard drive. You're a biological computer. And so if you were 5 and someone yelled at you because you're a mess, when you're 50, you still have that emotion stuck inside of you. And whenever anything comes up in your life that's related to you being a mess, the pain resurfaces. And usually people stuff that with something called chocolate cake.
Oh, yum.
Right?
Yeah, I do that from time to time.
And that's programming.
Yeah.
It's old programs. And those thoughts and emotions, those continue to repeat themselves throughout time. And the biggest mistake that we make in life is we think that our circumstances cause our feelings, when actually our feelings from the past and our programming cause our circumstances.
Wow. So what you're saying is that through your childhood experiences, you create at a very young age a pattern of belief or programming. It's kind of like the memory on the hard drive of a computer.
Yes.
And then for the rest of your life, you are actually responding to those programs. And so because you have this set pattern of belief, right, these set belief systems, then you actually attract to you conditions and circumstances and experiences that kind of reflect your predominant patterns of belief.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. And those old feelings from your past are always linked to old beliefs, and that's what your programming is. And that generates your thoughts. That's how you interpret life, is through those old thoughts and feelings, those old programs. And that generates your new thoughts about how you're interpreting reality, which then, of course, causes you to act, as Gandhi said, in a certain way, to respond in a certain way to circumstances. But if you could release the old emotion,
Right.
and the old belief systems and create something new right from your heart and soul, then it would literally remove the filter that you see life through,
Yes.
and you would have different thoughts and different actions, therefore a different reality.
Wow, that's pretty powerful. So you take your clients, and you have trainers that you have trained. So all of your staff, all of your representatives, your coaches, they work with clients to help them remove these negative patterns of belief.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
But more importantly, people take our training programs and learn to do it themselves.
Wow. Okay.
And I love to survey the audience and say, how many of you released a negative emotion permanently this weekend? And everyone raises their hand. Okay, and then how many of you can do this on your own without anyone else, without paying someone else? How many of you, and every single person now knows how to be their own, whatever you want to call it, psychologist, therapist, their own reprogrammer of their mental system.
Yeah.
And that's a very empowering thing, to give someone the ability to do that on their own.
Yeah. It's so amazing. This whole mind-body connection philosophy is not new. I mean, Plato talked about it, Socrates, it's an ancient wisdom, really. And what I find so fascinating, though, is now, in some respects, the modern medical model is catching up. Because there are so many studies that are being done in our nation's leading universities that are proving that there is a mind-body connection, and as the mind goes, the body follows. Right? And there's just been books upon books, I know they're out there, of, the effects of, people who have positive outlooks on life, people who have a faith, are something like 70 times more will recover 70 times faster than people without faith. And then, there's been books and studies on the prayer and how that affects the body. And so it's really exciting to kind of see that these two worlds that seem to be separate for so many decades are now starting to move toward each other. Mm-hmm. And the work that you do is no longer really airy-fairy or woo-wah, but you actually have UCLA, is it, that's doing a study?
It's the University of California, Irvine. UCI.
UCI is doing a study on some of the effects of your work, mm-hmm. which is very incredibly credible. And so it's very exciting to know that there's some very solid science underneath what you are teaching your clients. And but it takes two, right? So you can only do so much, and then the client has to pick up the other half of the equation, or take the ball and run with it, if you will. And that is the part where they have to actually change their diet. But we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about the next step in causing yourself to have your absolute most perfect life through perfect vital health. And we'll return with Arnoux Goran in just a minute.
Before you go out, screen the scene with Wazillo.com. Don't waste time or money going out to a place that's not perfect for you. Wazillo.com has live video streaming from your favorite bars, taverns, pubs, clubs, and venues. Find a place you've yet to discover. Wazillo.com keeps your eye on the action. Save time by making sure where you're going is the spot where you want to be. Check out the atmosphere, see what bartender is working, and view the crowd. Save money by finding coupons and check out the food and drink specials. Before you go out, screen the scene with Wazillo.com.
Hi, we're back. I am Reverend Roby Warren, and this is The Celebrated Life. And we are here this hour with the dashing and debonair and handsome Arnoux Goran from Total Health Mastery.
Oh, go on.
Oh, start.
Yeah, start. There you go.
To say brilliant and compassionate and charming. And I mean, we could go on.
Enough about me, but really, tell me what you think about me. Oh my God. You always make me laugh.
I know. That's why we love each other so much.
Yeah.
So, where were we? Oh, we were talking about where mind-body begins, and then also the next step in how you support your clients in knowing.
Well, part of what's spectacular about our training and why it works so well for people is that we present a lot of scientific data and information, but in a way that's very fun and absorbable and understandable to anyone. So it's like taking all the complicated research and making it into English, but still showing you all the references. And when people see that and they understand why what they're going to do works, they get an inner inspiration that you can't deny. And when it's presented in a system, mm-hmm. that's really impactful for people. And that's why the University of California is currently conducting a study on the results our clients get, which are usually considered impossible. And now the International Practitioners and Coaches Association certifies our programs. You can get 8 different certifications through the IPCA. Know Your Options Wellness Center, which has an I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but very high percentage effectiveness with cancer. They've asked us to be the educational arm of their corporate wellness program.
Wow.
And Dr. Swilling, who heads up the center, has 2 PhDs and has written 6 books. And he wouldn't ask us to provide the educational portion unless it was all based in science, because he's one of those mad scientist kind of guys.
Yes.
So part of how people get the impact is we show them the proof. And we help their belief system to align with, oh, if I do this, it's going to work. And they just go for it, and they see results. And once you see a result within a day or an hour of doing one simple thing, then you're going to want to do more. And that's a big part of it. And of course, we have our coaches, and we do teleconferences, and we have a support system. But it's really just about the education and the training.
Yeah, I just have to acknowledge you. In full disclosure, I have taken Arnoux courses, not all of them, but some of them. And you really are a complete commitment to the education of your clients. It's really amazing to see how much you give your clients, how much you make available to them. Just on your website alone, at thmastery.com, there's hundreds of blogs where people can look up any kind of physical ailment whatsoever and read about what other people have done and how other people have achieved results in treating those imbalances. It's a phenomenon. Plus, you're teaching and training all these other coaches. You're supporting people in knowing their perfect health and encouraging them to share that knowledge with the people in their communities. And then I know you've just transformed the lives of thousands and thousands of your clients directly just by supporting them on their pathway. So you're working with the people individually, you're educating people, you're educating educators, and you're also writing books, and you have Weight Loss Hope, right, that was published this last year?
Correct.
And I know I've lost 55 pounds.
Wow.
Doing what you have told me to do. It's not. I would say it's not easy, but if people do what you tell them to do, it absolutely, beyond a shadow of a doubt, works.
Yeah, that's right. It's not like you're just going to wake up one day and all of a sudden all your problems are going to be solved. There's a journey to be had. But if you don't have any tools and you don't know what to do that's actually going to work in real life, that can be very frustrating or debilitating. Once you have the tools and you know what to do, then it's just a matter of choosing to do it when you're ready.
Knowledge is power.
Exactly.
And the American people are very disempowered when it comes to the knowledge and the information that we have about diet and health.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And our programs are so comprehensive yet so condensed that even nurses, medical doctors, chiropractors, colon hydrotherapists, nutritionists come to our courses and say, I didn't know most of this stuff. Or sometimes they say, I didn't know any of this stuff. And I'm speaking on breast cancer awareness this month with Lisa Callison, who's one of the top thermographic imagers in all of California. And they can read your body without putting radiation into your body and tell you the signs and symptoms of a problem 10 years before a mammogram can find cancer. And she said after 33 years of being a researchaholic, she only knew 65% what was in our first weekend.
Wow.
So there's just a tremendous amount of knowledge that people actually need to have. It's my dream that someday this information will be taught in public schools so that we can actually have a world without sickness. That is my vision.
Who teaches nutrition in our public schools now?
Well, actually, if you go to your local public school or to your physical therapist training program and you look at the manuals on health, they actually say National Dairy Council. And the National Dairy Council was created in 1915 for the express purpose of educating the American public on why they should eat dairy products. Not what's best for the human body, why they should buy their product. And then the egg industry and the meat industry have joined in with them. And so when you learn about nutrition in public school, and this has been true since 1915, before my grandparents were born, you're going to learn from the National Dairy Council. And they're not going to tell you that beef is 27.2% protein and that spinach is 49% protein, because they don't sell spinach.
Right.
Unfortunately. And it's really interesting to compare what we learned from them in school with what actually works in real life and what modern science says and what the World Health Organization says, what the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition says, and see the differences. And we do a lot of that in the first weekend. So we can actually see what's working and then compare that to what we learned and then decide what we want to do from there.
Yeah, I was overwhelmed with the amount of scientific data that you present in your workshops. You have done your homework.
Thank you.
You have one of these Encyclopedia Britannica minds that it's filled with so much vast knowledge and information. It's really staggering, But there is a lot of data out there, but the American people, we just don't know to go look for it. And you just had this passion, right? So you found your passion.
Yes.
Right? And you then from your passion came your purpose,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And what's going to follow, hopefully, is your prosperity, right?
Yes, it has.
And so that's how it works, right? Finding your passion, which leads to your purpose, which then leads to your life living in the circulation and the good and the blessings of life. So, but you have so many credentials, it's crazy. Like, and you've done so much work. Would you share with the viewers some of where your path took you? Like, you know, I guess I just want people to know it's not just one thing. Like, a lot of times we have a vision, like we have a desire, but it's kind of like, well, I've always wanted to be a piano player, but did you ever take piano lessons? No. You know what I mean?
Right.
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 You know what I mean? You really have to like move your feet. You really have to get into action.
Mm-hmm.
So will you share like a little bit of what your personal path was and how you've gotten to this place?
Well, I have 17 certifications in the health field, you know, mental or physical certifications, and even some energy work certifications. But I'd have to say that the majority of information that I learned that's used in our courses was found simply by going and studying on my own. The doctors who I found were producing incredible results. And there's Dr. Gabriel Cousins just released a documentary where they cured 5 people of diabetes in 30 days.
Wow.
His book is called There Is a Cure for Diabetes. His book, Depression Free for Life, he outlines how he's over 90% effective at curing depression. Dr. Leonard Coldwell and Dr. Hammer both have a 92% success rate with cancer. And if you start to study what these men and these researchers have done, you'll begin to see patterns and understandings of the laws of the design of the body. And that was more valuable than, you know, getting all my pre-med training where I learned about physics and chemistry and biology. It was better to learn from those who were producing those extraordinary results that I got and wanted to produce in our clients so that everyone could understand it, access it, and use it just like that.
Yeah, because there really are. There's a lot of doctors out there who are getting amazing results for their clients.
Absolutely.
And yet, we're not hearing about it.
Not yet.
That's why you're on The Celebrated Life.
You got it. That's what we're doing.
Which is going out on the international World Wide Webs, right?
Absolutely.
That's what my mother calls it, just so you know, it's an inside joke. The international World Wide Webs.
Yes, of course.
What it's called.
Yes, lots of webs to catch people.
Right.
You know, part of what I love to share are success stories from our clients. Because most people don't think that what we achieve with our clients is even possible. Most doctors, most average Americans would never believe what we do. They would say, well, that's impossible. But there's no way you could accomplish that. And if anyone ever wants to see proof, you can go to our website, thmastery.com. And you can see the 5-minute testimonial reel. You can watch some of the other testimonial videos. If you put in your email, you'll get a 45-minute training video from me sharing some useful information to make changes right away. There's recipes on there. And when people watch those testimonial videos, they get shocked and they get inspired.
Yeah.
To know they can do it too.
Yeah. To share with the viewers, when I was 21, I was diagnosed with cervical cancer. And I actually had been hemorrhaging for 30 days. And I was very weak and very sick. And for some reason, it took them that long to figure out what was wrong with me. And so when they figured out what was wrong with me, they basically said, sign here, you're going into surgery tonight. I was like, what? Wait a minute, And being 21, I don't know where I found this personal strength, but I just looked at the doctor and I said, I just need more information, what kind of cancer is it? How long will it take to spread to other organs? Will it be painful? Are there any other treatments besides surgery, right, that have proven to, reverse these growths? And he just wasn't willing to answer any of my questions. He was just very upset, and he told me I was going to die if I didn't do what he wanted me to do. And of course,
that's scary.
Yeah, right? Exactly. And I said, look, nobody's going to tell me I'm going to die. I need more information. My mother was there and she was crying and she was begging me to listen to the doctor. And I left, and the next day I found a Dr. Stephen Vogue, who was a chiropractor in Encinitas, California, and he had written a little book called Cancer Can Be Cured, and it was about a raw food diet. And so I went on a raw food diet immediately, and I took 52 supplements a day to support my body in regenerating itself. And in 9 months' time, all 5 of the tumors that I had were completely disappeared.
Wow.
Right? I was sleeping probably 4 hours a night, 5 hours a night. I was 21, working full time, working out at the gym. I lost 45 pounds. I was in a musical. I had more energy than I've ever had in my entire life. And I was totally healthy. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how I found Dr. Vogue. I don't know why I made that choice. You know, I just remember that's the choice I made. I'm really glad I did. But so I know I've had 2 now experiences where I've had a physical malady and cured it completely by just going on a raw food diet. So I'm a believer. I'm a big believer. And we're going to take a break. And when we come back, Arnoux has literally thousands and thousands of case studies of clients that have done what he has coached them to do, who have turned their health around. And so when we come back from break, Arnoux is going to share a lot of those success stories with you. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Before you go out, screen the scene with Wazillo.com. Don't waste time or money going out to a place that's not perfect for you. Wazillo.com has live video streaming from your favorite bars, taverns, pubs, clubs, and venues. Find a place you've yet to discover. Wazillo.com keeps your eye on the action. Save time by making sure where you're going is the spot where you want to be. Check out the atmosphere, see what bartender is working, and view the crowd. Save money by finding coupons and check out the food and drink specials. Before you go out, screen the scene with Wazillo.com.
And we're back with Arnoux Goran from Total Health Mastery. Arnoux, will you share with us some of the success stories of your clients?
Absolutely. You know, I've heard your story hundreds and hundreds of times just from our own clientele, probably thousands of times, and from many, many other practitioners who are doctors or teachers or authors. I mean, literally thousands and thousands of people have achieved healing results just by switching to an organic, fresh, uncooked fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds diet. Dr. Gerson developed a program, and now his clinic is in Mexico because he was way too successful. And Dr. Dan Rogers runs his clinic, and they have a 100% success rate with type 1, or not type 1, stage 1 or stage 2 cancer, 80% in stage 3, and 39% success with stage 4, considered to be terminal cancer, working with the nutritional part.
And 39%, like, let's just get some perspective on this. 39% for stage 4 cancer is crazy.
That's supposed to be impossible.
It's impossible, right?
Right. And
it's actually better than the medical institutions.
Well, it's defined as 0%, right? Terminal, stage 4, you have no shot, right? Your will, you're going to die. And then 4 out of 10 people who go to the Gerson Institute are still alive 20 years later.
Yeah.
And that's working with nutrition, and that's critical, and that's huge. And I want to give you some stories where people did a specific thing so the listeners can go do these things, simple things that make a huge difference. But I also want to reiterate that it's not just about nutrition. So Dr. Coble has a 92.8% success rate with cancer, and he recommends a 100% raw food diet. But he makes the priority on emotional healing. Dr. Hammer has a 92% success rate, and he only does the emotional healing. He believes that all cancer has an emotional trauma at the root cause. And we've seen that with people, not just with cancer, but with any kind of illness. We had a client named Allie, gorgeous young lady, at the age of 16 developed a severe case of IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. Terrible constipation, pain, diarrhea. She said, you know, at 16, it was ruining her life. I don't know how you're going to be a cheerleader if you can't control your intestines. So she became an avid health researcher, and she said she read an entire bookcase of books on health, and finally went on the raw food diet after 2 years of researching. So at 18, when she took our training, she was 21, and she'd been 100% raw for 3 years, had done plenty of cleanses to remove toxicity from the body. And her only real challenge was, besides the fact that she still had IBS and it hadn't changed at all,
Wow.
was that she also felt lightheaded when she worked out. Her trainer would yell at her in front of the gym for not eating animal protein, because that obviously was the cause of her lightheadedness. She took our training and found out that lightheadedness and fatigue are typically caused by a lack of minerals.
Wow.
And she started supplementing minerals. She also found out that most people who go on a raw food diet deplete their body of minerals, because you use minerals for cleansing, and the raw food diet instigates an automatic cleanse in your body. So she did that and all these cleanses without putting in enough minerals, and she depleted her body of minerals, so she got lightheaded when she worked out, and she was probably a lot more tired. Then once she started taking some supplementation, she felt a lot better. And I'll give people some examples of what to do as far as putting minerals in. But her IBS still didn't go away. So she sent me an email and explained her whole program, how she works out 5 days a week. She fired her trainer. Now she works with Miss America Fitness from 06-07, my friend Cardina Pazza, who wrote the foreword for my book, Weight Loss Hope, because Cardina understands that this nutritional aspect is more effective. She sent me an email with her whole program and said, what should I do differently? I'm taking all these supplements, I'm eating 100% raw, I'm working out.
Still sick.
And I said, here's the thing, Allie. Have you ever considered that the root cause, and this is always the key, you got to find the root cause, isn't physical, that it's emotional, mental, or spiritual? Why don't you get a consultation with one of our consultants and see if they can help you? So she did. She got a 30-minute consult, and the consultant said, okay, tell me your whole deal. And at the end of hearing Allie's program said, well, it sounds like it's not a physical root cause. I mean, it's kind of obvious. So did anything emotional, traumatic happen to you around the time your IBS started? Oh, yeah. Okay. So they used our 7 steps to reprogramming yourself. In 30 minutes, they erased all the trauma that she went through from her body, totally cleared. She could think about it, and it didn't have any impact. It was gone. And this is what Allie said next week on the teleconference with the rest of the 100 people in the course. She said, the next day I woke up and my intestines worked perfectly. Now, I would have said my IBS is gone.
Right.
But that's what she said. And it's been gone. She came and did a video interview for us a couple years after that, and no problem. So she resolved the root cause, which was emotional in her case. Whereas a gentleman named Ingo said he was dealing with chronic fatigue for 30 years. And I said, most of the time, when people are tired, it's not just because they're eating a lot of heavy meals or because they have a lot of old emotion. Most of the time, it's because they're low on minerals. And he said, well, what should I do? And I said, well, you can take really good supplements. Anything green is going to be high in minerals. We have our own supplement line that I personally take. And I said, why don't you just try getting like a green powder from your local health food store? I mean, there's health food stores everywhere. Even Whole Foods, for sure, is going to have a vitamin mineral green or something high quality. Mix it with juice, because it's pretty strong tasting, until you get used to the flavor, and then you can have less juice and more water until eventually it's just water with your green. Try half a teaspoon so you don't detox instantly and see what happens. And he said, but I can't afford a $60 tub of superfood powder. And I said, well, why don't you go the cheap route and just buy a tub of alfalfa tablets and just take what it says in the bottle, but slowly increase to 4 times what it says to take each day. So next week, he shares, not only is he, for the first time in 30 years, not fatigued from this one simple thing, all of his pain went away.
Wow.
See, the thing is, minerals are alkalizing. And when your body's alkaline, there's more oxygen in your body, and 60% of your energy comes from oxygen. The other thing is, what causes pain sometimes is acid from what you've eaten. Coffee, alcohol, meat, all those things are highly acidic. Dairy.
All the good things.
Right, all your favorite things. I'm not saying you shouldn't eat meat, just upgrade to organic,
Yes.
Try to eat it more in the raw state, as raw as possible. Same thing with your dairy. There's higher qualities of dairy and meat, and if you're eating the lower quality, highly processed foods, you're eating very acidic food. It doesn't taste acidic, it's acidic in your body.
Yes.
After you've digested it. It leaves an acidic ash. And that causes pain and inflammation. So by putting all those minerals in, he neutralized the acid and his pain went away. So that was a really great example of something I've heard over and over and over and over and over again. I'm tired, I took some minerals, now I drink my green drink all day with my juice in it, and I'm never tired, and I sleep 2 hours less per day, thank you Arnoux, and 2 hours less. That's 700 hours a year. Think about how you could live your purpose and passion if you had that much energy and that much more time.
It's a lot more time. It's a lot more time.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Just minerals, that's it.
That's for energy, yeah.
We could just remineralize our bodies and we could be that much healthier.
Correct. And we do know, and we have known since 1923, that an alkaline cell can never become cancerous. Dr. Otto Warburg proved that in 1923. In 1931, he won the Nobel Prize for that.
Wow. Really? 1931?
That's how long we've known
Wow.
how to prevent cancer, which is simply staying alkaline. And Dr. Warburg said the amount of minerals in your body and the amount of oxygen in your body are opposite sides of the same coin. Wow. So we need to start alkalizing our bodies.
That's crazy.
With minerals.
Arnoux, that's fascinating information. And there's a couple I want you to talk about because they just made such an impression on me. But there was a couple that took your course that had been infertile. They had been trying and trying and trying to have a child. Will you share their story? Absolutely.
You know, Dr. George Malcolmus says that out of thousands of people who've been to his center, every single couple who were told they could not have kids got pregnant in less than a year, most of them in less than 6 months. And in the first month of our training, Frank and Patsy Madrigal, who you're talking about, got pregnant on accident.
And how many years have they been trying?
Well, they were 40, and they've been married for 17 years, trying intentionally for 11 years to have children and could not have kids. The doctors told them that they couldn't have kids, that they could try a $20,000 procedure, and Frank told the doctors, I'll do it myself. So in the first month of our training, they got pregnant. And I know that they started drinking mineral broth, which is just basically soup broth that's full of minerals. They did a heavy metal detox to get rid of all the mercury and whatnot in your body. Dr. Rita Ellenthorpe, who's the leading researcher on heavy metals in the world, who's been studying that for 30 years, says that 100% of Americans have heavy metals in our body, and that 59% have heavy metal poisoning or levels that are considered to be poisonous, which are going to show symptoms, right? So they did that, and they had a consultation to reframe some belief systems, so they knew that they could have and carry and keep a baby. And I think they started making small changes in their diet, but not major. And in the first month, on accident, they're pregnant.
Wow.
So there's a video of them on our site where they're 5 months pregnant, and they're so cute. And then Frank came back recently on Father's Day to take our new 2-day course. And he shared the whole story about how their son Benjamin's now 1.5 years old, and that he wouldn't be a father on Father's Day if it wasn't for our courses. And that was a really touching moment. And he also shared the whole process of having the baby and how they did their own research and did things very differently. You know, in America, we are the second most dangerous place to have a child.
What?
Yeah.
In the United States?
The United States is the second most dangerous country in the world to have a child. Watch Ricky Lake's The Business of Being Born, and she'll show you the statistics. There's only like one small third world country, I believe, that's worse, that has a worse success rate than we do, yet it's twice as expensive.
Higher infant mortality rate.
Correct. And yet it's twice as expensive to have a baby here than anywhere else.
Wow.
And they were in labor for like 21, 22 hours, and the doctors wanted to give them drugs to induce labor, drugs that on the box say do not give this to a child because it's poisonous. And they wanted to give the drugs to the mom, to Patsy, to force labor because it had been a long time. And Frank said, isn't there some way to do that naturally? The doctor said, well, if you stimulate her nipples, it'll start to produce the progesterone and the baby will start coming. Now he said that he was really upset that she didn't tell them that in the first few minutes. Why wait 21 hours to share that natural way of doing the same thing that Pitocin, the drug, would do? And everyone in the audience wanted to know if Frank did the stimulating himself. But apparently he didn't. I don't know why. I mean, I'm a Scorpio, so I just don't get that. But
so just by a woman stimulating her own nipples will get the body to start producing progesterone, which then creates the dilation, which allows the labor to take place.
And it happened within minutes.
Wow.
within minutes.
And the baby was born.
Healthy baby boy, super healthy, brilliant, very happy parents.
That's amazing.
And they want to have more kids.
That's amazing. Well, we just have a few minutes left, Arnoux. It's been so great to have you here. You are just such a wealth of knowledge and vital, important information. And I'm just so grateful that you, followed your passion and found your purpose, and that you have this burning desire, this passion for getting this information out to the American public. I just have to share, Arnoux has I'm going to tell a story on you.
All right.
You have an amazing goal. So what is your goal? What are your goals?
The vision of Total Health Mastery is to end world sickness.
End world sickness.
Imagine a world where everyone knows that there is no such thing as an incurable disease. That every cure has already been found, that everyone already knows what to do, and if anybody ever is sick, everyone knows it's because they're choosing to be sick, because there is no such thing as an incurable disease. I believe that the information's already been found. Dr. Dean Ornish can prove that he can cure heart disease at any stage in 3 weeks or less simply with a healthy diet. They've also proven that you can stop the DNA from causing you to get older and actually end aging.
Oh, that's going to have to be another show.
Yes, we could do that.
Can I have you back and can we talk about anti-aging?
That would be fun.
Because I know we all want to know about anti-aging. Yes? Yes.
Yes.
So, Arnoux, we're out of time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was a great show today. Tune in next week, Wednesdays from 3 to 4 Pacific Standard Time, wazillomedia.com. This has been The Celebrated Life. I'm Reverend Roby Warren. Go out and make it a great week. Bye-bye.